Mauritania, a North African country, has a great pastoral history. As a Sahelian country, its inhabitants live mainly from livestock and related activities. Pastoral activity contributes greatly to the country's economy and inexorably ensures the food security of the pastoralist populations. All of these reasons explain the intervention of the Praps, the regional support program for pastoralism in the Sahel. This is a project implemented by the World Bank and the SILS, the Permanent Interstate Committee for Drought Control in the Sahel. The entire program is geared towards improving the living conditions of pastoralists in order to secure their livelihoods. The project components revolve around improving animal health, improving natural resource management, facilitating market access, managing pastoral crises, and providing project management and institutional support.
As a project, the Praps has arrived at a crucial moment for pastoralism in Mauritania, after a decade of drought during which we didn't have any development project for Mauritania. Praps was really expected here, and when it arrived, it considered all the pastoralism preoccupation in a holistic way. In the Sahel, the economy is based on pastoralism and livestock. Something of paramount importance in this context is the preservation of animal health, which has been a preoccupation since independence. Praps did a lot in capacity reinforcement, infrastructure, and equipment.
Les infrastructures, mais aussi les équipements.
We are in the Robinet area, 224 kilometers away from Nouakchott, the Mauritanian capital. Here, Praps has built a rest area for livestock, an infrastructure that also serves as a shelter for herders, animal owners, and other livestock conveyors in transit to the terminal markets of Nouakchott. These premises now have loading and unloading ramps for the animals. A shed was also built to serve as a resting place, watering troughs, and a storage room for feed input and other amenities. Notable changes for livestock farmers. In order to contribute to the improvement of natural resource management, 62 pastoral boreholes, 22 of which have been completed and equipped, and 103 pastoral wells, 73 of which have been completed, and the remainder are in progress.
This infrastructure is of great importance for us. Sometimes we were obliged to make several kilometers up to Nouakchott without our animals having an opportunity to take a rest. But now they have a corner where they can drink thanks to this trough.
I am a breeder from the eastern region. Before we could not have any rest. We could sometimes go up to Nouakchott because there was nothing here. But thanks to Praps and this resting space, our animals have enough time to take rest, which has great importance on their weight, and now we can sell them at good prices.
In normal times, we can have up to 4 or 5 lorries carrying animals here. During great events, they can reach 40. The conditions have been much improved in this area. When the animals arrived here, they are healthy and keep their good health, which allows us to sell them easily. The sanitary facilities that have been developed here are very relevant for farmers and transporters who stop by. They often use to make their needs in the open air. The Praps achievements are very important, even though there are other improvements to make. If the power of the borehole is increased, it would be great for us because in the wilding period, animals need to drink a lot. If it is increased with powerful pumps, we would highly appreciate it.
After the rest area of Robinet, we head for the region of Bogué, 314 kilometers from the capital. All along the road, the immense herds of oxen, sheep and camels constitute the landscape. With the realities of the desert, the livestock crosses long distances in search of pasture, a large-scale transhumance. One of the major objectives of the Praps Mauritania project is to improve access to market for pastoralists and agro-pastoralists in cross-border areas and along the transhumance routes of the 6 Sahelian countries of Mali, Chad, Burkina Faso, Senegal, Niger, and Mauritania. Hence the relevance of the implementation of livestock markets. Indeed, Praps Mauritania has a program to build 80 new livestock markets. We are in the market of Bougué, a busy place managed by the town hall. Brokers and customers flock there every day for intense bargaining over goods, cattle and other animal species. Infrastructure has been set up there to serve as an enclosure for the livestock. This closed space is certainly a guarantee of security for the breeders.
The improvement with this place is the security aspect. It is managed by the town hall, but it's for us. Before, it was in an open air with no possibility to control anything. As a matter of fact, people would come and go as they wanted. The other problem is that during the rainy season, it is very hard to stay here. If there is an improvement in that regard, we would appreciate it as well.
This is a great infrastructure with a lot of security. In addition, there are other commodities like a mosque. We have all that we needed.
There is security here and the access is free. The town hall only takes 200 ouguias for the great ruminant and 100 for the little ones.
In addition to the livestock component, the Praps has made it a priority to work on the development of the animal value chain. As a result, 25 mini dairies have been set up or rehabilitated in the country. These initiatives contribute to the improvement of women in the area. Here, a women's group of 20 people work in a mini dairy of Hamdalai, a locality with a large Fulani community. The tasks of the enterprise are carried out in turn by teams of 4 to 5 women. This processing unit runs on solar energy. Like the mini dairies financed by Praps, it is equipped with various devices such as a high-capacity gas pasteurizer, a heat-sealing machine for packaging milk in bags, and a solar-powered freezer for conservation, among others. Dressed in white coat, Fawad Abdullah Sow puts in bags the milk intended for marketing. President of the mini dairy, this 50-year-old woman has benefited from various training courses which have enabled her to master the processing of milk. From pre-milking to milking, through fermentation and packaging, everything is well coordinated.
For the milk treatment, we have been trained to deal with that. We pasteurize it up to 80 degrees. Then we let it get color before putting it in the sugar before making the fermentation. The whole process is strictly respected. The pieces are sold for 50 or 100 ouguias. The impact of this dairy can even be felt concerning our children. It's very nutritious for 4 children who used to buy candy, which is not good for their health. But now they come to the dairy and buy what they need here. So there is a real change in the food habit. In this dairy, we don't only do milking. We also do jacquerie, the couscous or other products that we sell. We've also learned to make some cheese, yogurt, and conserve milk that can last 21 days. I am a housewife with 5 children. Before, I did not have any activity. But with this, I can now take care of my children and their school fees, which I could not do before. I often buy some soap with what I earn here, or sometimes help my husband with the household expenses.
Another place, another mini dairy. We are in the region of Kifa, located 625 kilometers from the capital. Here the women have received support from the Praps, which has set up a mini dairy. This project has changed the life of 20 women who were mostly employed. Now they are able to provide for their own needs thanks to this activity. After a well-mastered routine, they pack their products, load them into coolers, and head for the surrounding stores that are their main markets.
Le Praps nous a beaucoup aidés.
Praps is greatly support us. With this small diary, we manage to earn our living. We are a group of 20 women, among whom some are housewives, while others are still going to school. With this activity, we are really do well. During great activities, we can receive great milk orders. We receive from training in capacity reinforcement. And now what we need is a care for the delivery of our product. We also want in train as well as conservation packs because there is a lot of shortage which slow our activity. I provide support to my husband and now my child goes to school. With that, I can now satisfy his school fees.
Avec cet argent, je lui paie sa scolarité.
With the Praps project, all communities are included, taking into account the needs and realities of each. The mini dairy for the Moorish women of Bisejuma, located 69 kilometers from Rosso on the border with Senegal, is a perfect example. These women, who are mainly from cattle breeding families, have learned to add value to milk through the Praps. In addition to dairy products, they sell soap made from animal fat and are also active in tanning with the valorization of skins and hides. From these materials, they make shoes and other practical objects for the desert life.
The women that compose our association come from breeders' family. But before, when we had some extra mix, we used to pour it down because we did not know what to do with it. But now with the Praps support and the training we've received, we can now value the milk. We can make yogurt, cheese, which makes us earn a lot. We are really grateful to Praps. The tanning business was thrown open here because for many handling animal skin was not hygienic. But with the technique we learned thanks to the Praps, we realized that was just a prejudice. We can even done while sitting in our house. You just need to master the technique. We also make dessert, shoes and soap, some space that can keep the coolness for long, and also butter from the milk.
Income-generating activities for women and youth are an essential component of the regional support program for pastoralism in the Sahel. In this sense, the financing by Praps of micro-projects for the benefit of vulnerable populations meets a real demand in rural areas. Surrounded by her family and employees, Mahjouba runs a fattening farm here in Bourdida, a few kilometers from the town of Bogi. Initially, this owner had 13 heads of sheep. Thanks to the financial support from Praps, she has been able to increase her business.
I've been supported by Praps regarding the fattening of animals. I started in 2020, 13 sheep at the beginning. We take care of the animals in addition to regular duties at the rate of 6 women per 3 months. After that period, we share the benefits, while a part of it is allotted to our activities. We have multiplied our initial gains, and families are very satisfied. This project is really been a relief for us. We would like to be extended and hope Praps will help us with that.
In the region of Kifa, 625 kilometers from Nouakchott, it is necessary to travel 20 kilometers on a truck before arriving in Vencheli. The local women run a community store funded by Praps. With the income from this business, they have been able to set up a butcher shop in an activity that was once considered a man's job. They now supply meat to the households of the locality. All these activities provide income to the beneficiaries. strengthen unity among group members, and introduce women to management and organization.
Before the arrival of this project by Praps, we did not have any activity. But now, thanks to the project, we are now very active and the project allows us to solve our needs. The project funded us to buy 2 fridges, which allow us to have enough funds to open our shop. And the benefits we got from the shop allow us to found the butchery. We share the benefit among us, while the other part is allowed to the activities. I'm really satisfied with this project, and this is the first time a project is having some interest in us. We no longer need to travel long distance to buy things. With this shop and the butchery, we have all that we need in the spot. Now what we want is a gardening perimeter. There is water, and that will be a great help for us. If we have the means, we could do like the men. Our ambition is hindered by the lack of means.
One of the essential components of the regional support program for pastoralism in the Sahel is the vaccination of livestock. This is to prevent diseases of small and large ruminants. Praps has supported the Mauritanian Ministry of Livestock by covering 50% of the cost of vaccination. In order to ensure the health of livestock, Praps has strengthened the veterinary infrastructure with 41 health posts. In this vaccination park located in Akur in the Trarza region, the team from the Ministry of Livestock delegation is working on the vaccination task. In these areas, some farmers are reluctant to be vaccinated. This is not the case for Ahmedou Old Imagine.
Animals need vaccination because we are in an area where there are many diseases. There is no reason for not to vaccinate the animals. We might need other parks because there is a lot of water here at a certain period of the year. But if we have a lot of parks, we will really be able to vaccinate many cattle at once.
The
Praps is very important for the ministry in charge of livestock, as it takes in charge 50% of the vaccination volume. Even on the logistics side, they provided us with cars and oil, the vaccination material, as well as the training of technicians and veterinarians. They supported us in many aspects. 2 or 3 of the veterinarians who are now vaccinating have been trained by Praps. We did not have cars as well. In the wilaya where we are, there are 7 mukatas. In these 7 mukatas, there are 5 cars from Praps. This means that it's a very significant project here.
All its achievements in the field have been made possible by a well-structured coordination unit. We are in the Praps Mauritania headquarters in Nouakchott. The project managers are satisfied with the results of this first phase of the Praps, which has had convincing results.
Avec l'implantation des mini-laiteries, on a non seulement valorisé le lait local.
With the implementation of this dairy, the local milk is now valued, because before there was not any means for its conservation. The options were very restricted. Either we consume it, or you sell what you can, and the rest is lost, while we are in a region where the milk production is very high. As a matter of fact, with the presence of this dairy, we have identified a group of women from vulnerable agro-pastoral families. And thanks to that, they have been empowered and they can now value the milk they process. Thanks to that, the milk is valorized and sold in other areas, and people consume locally as well. Apart from the women, the herders also benefit from this project at the same level as the women. They used to have processing problems with the milk, but thanks to this win-win project, they are now capable of being more independent.
Sans problème, c'est vraiment un partenariat gagnant-gagnant avec les femmes qui portent ces projets mini-laiteries.
Après des années de démarrage du projet, ça fait 4 ans.
2 years after the beginning of this project, we had a total of 16,584 vulnerable people, including 96% of women. We have invested 646,993 in sectors like training in revenue-generating activities. For the women, 286 revenue-generating activities have been monitored in the 7 wilayas in 113 communes of the country. Our approach is that we recruited implementation operators whose role is to identify beneficiaries and monitor the process and activities. We have a common approach with the 3 operators who support us, which means that the activity is well monitored and managed with the support of operators. As of now, we have a 98% success rate. Also, we noticed that the revenue-generating activities in favor of women have more success chances than those managed by men.
Je pense que nous avons réajusté un peu notre dispositif.
I think we adjust our framework from Praps 1 to Praps 2 so that it fits the flow-up of the project's activities implementation. I also think that we need to make more efforts for capacity reinforcement for our local collaborators in the departmental side as well as the ministry's personnel. They need to be trained with good capacity reinvestment so that they can help us in the implementation phase. And for that, we call on non-governmental organizations and the civil society for more capacity reinforcement and more support so that we can have consistent activities.
The Regional Support Program for Pastoralism in the Sahel in Mauritania has had a considerable impact on the lives of beneficiary populations. On the ground, each locality, each community has been positively impacted. The second phase of the program will begin soon, after a first phase rich in achievements which have improved the lives of pastors and their families. Praps 2 is moving forward in the same direction.